Well, now to a story that's difficult to watch but important nonetheless, especially for travellers in Asia. It's about the black market trade in dog meat. Long considered a delicacy in parts of the continent, dogs are being rounded up, locked in cages and shipped off to Vietnam, China and South Korea to be served as food. This practice is run by criminal gangs who are even known to steal pet dogs, not just strays. In Thailand, it's become a serious problem, and one local charity is fighting hard to shut it down. Iskandar Razak reports, and a warning: this story contains images of animal cruelty that many will find disturbing.
These dogs are lucky. Without the intervention of animal advocates and undercover informers, they were headed for slaughterhouses in Asia's dog meat black market. Thousands of dogs have been rounded up in Thailand by criminal gangs to be served as dog meat in restaurants in Vietnam, China or South Korea.
They can be in those cages for several days. I mean, a recent interception we've done was the dogs had been probably there 3 or 4 days in a jungle waiting for the okay to move across the river. In that time, no food, no water.
The cruelty aspect of the overall practice is truly terrible from start to finish.
Dog is not traditionally eaten in Thailand, but there are millions of strays in the Buddhist nation. So for years, criminal gangs captured street dogs and smuggled them across Asia.
The scale is quite large. It's somewhere between 2 to 2.5 million dogs that are estimated to be consumed every year in Korea. Vietnam is estimated to consume about 5 million dogs a year in this trade.
It has to be seen to be believed. Stuffed into cages, tightly packed, which leads to broken bones, backs, even crushed heads while they're being transported, to being force-fed in holding farms in Vietnam, often skinned alive, burnt alive, boiled alive, you name it. And all this in front of other dogs. And dogs, as very sentient beings, they know what's happening. And the cruelty is abhorrent. Plenty of that happens in Korea because they believe the pain inflicted will improve the flavour of the meat.
But in the last 2 years in Thailand, things have changed. Locals in Thailand's border regions, working with animal rights groups and Thai police, have been uncovering plans to move the dogs for slaughter and intercepting them. For the locals, passing on the information is dangerous work.
These people who are informing and following them are in danger. They have to work undercover. We don't publish their names anywhere. There are no pictures of them because they are, yes, it is a risk for them, and I admire them for what they're doing.
Many of the dogs the Soi Dog Foundation has helped rescue come here to its sanctuary in Phuket to be rehabilitated and sometimes adopted by people in the USA, Canada or the UK.
We have a very, very active adoption programme. We're hoping to hit 500 by the end of the year. So 500 out a year means you can bring another 500 in to help.
Their advocacy is paying off. A year ago, killing dogs for meat became illegal in Thailand, and a number of busts, arrests and prosecutions have followed. That's meant traffickers are changing their tactics and targeting pet dogs in Vietnam.
The dogs are often stolen from the streets, and many of those dogs are actually stolen pets with their collars still on.
It's estimated up to 70% of the dogs slaughtered for meat in Asia are stolen pets. Those trying to end the dog meat trade are now ramping up their efforts on this front.
We've employed somebody in Vietnam and are looking now at establishing Soi Dog in Vietnam to try and take the fight against the trade there.
I didn't know that these animals were caught up in this hideous crime.
British actors, singers and comedians have fronted an international push to stop the dog meat trade.
These innocent creatures are crammed into cages so brutally that their bones often break.
Asian performers are also involved in different versions of this movement.
Bây giờ bạn đã biết.
Bây giờ bạn đã biết.
Bây giờ bạn đã biết.
But getting change in Vietnam, South Korea and China will be more difficult than Thailand. That's because in those nations, unlike Thailand, eating dog is entrenched in the culture. In South Korea, there are even several official dog farms. Local agencies are now taking a different tack. They're trying to convince governments that aside from cruelty, there's another reason to stop the illegal dog meat trade. It's making people sick.
The dog meat trade is directly correlated with the spread of rabies.
Rabies is endemic in Asia, and the bloody way dogs are slaughtered has resulted in the potentially fatal disease spreading to humans. Other diseases and parasites in dog meat can also spread to humans when eaten.
It doesn't come under any hygienic controls as other meats do. And that has led to outbreaks, documented outbreaks of cholera and other diseases in Vietnam and China.
That argument is having some effect in Asia, but animal advocates say a new problem is emerging. Visiting foreigners are helping keep the practice alive.
Tour guides actually pushing to Western tourists they should try dog meat because it's a cultural thing. And Western tourists are actually now trying dog meat.
But in Asia, on the whole, eating dog is on the decline, and animal advocates believe over time the practice will eventually die out.
The dog meat trade, if we can get that stopped in this region, it would be, that has to be at the top of anybody's list because it is the most barbaric, evil, money-grabbing trade I think I've ever come across.
Iskandar Razak reporting there.